Tell me what's worse, the Cardinals almost beating the 49ers, the Vikings almost losing to the Broncos, or Mason Rudolph's headache on Friday. Grossi Posse Packer Nation! Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I am your host, Tom Grossi. And today we're going to be breaking down Week 11 in the NFL, which, the Packers were on a bye, so did the NFL even happen this week? Well, apparently it did, and God, yep, of course, my foes still had to triumph over me, even though the Packers weren't even playing. The Vikings for almost losing to the Broncos, but then coming back. The Bears for making me sit through their Sunday night game. Just oof. But let's go through each of these games and break them down. First, you have the Thursday night game, which we already talked a whole lot about. You had the Steelers losing to the Browns 21-7. Just when I thought I could trust the Steelers because of that impeccable defense, but bam! Like a helmet to the head. The offense showed that they were utter garbage. Mason Rudolph, before getting clobbered in the head, threw 4 interceptions, was completely terrible. James Conner got injured again, and so did Juju Smith-Schuster, and so did, they basically had no one left on the offense. So I don't entirely blame Mason Rudolph, but he played terribly. Now, the Browns didn't play that great either, but they did enough just to win, though I don't know how many more games they will win, considering suspensions are coming down and Myles Garrett is going to be out indefinitely. But the Steelers, their offense is holding them back from mediocrity, because right now they're a notch below that. And to think I put them in the top 10 last week. Then, moving on, you had the Jets and the Redskins, where lower-level tickets were going for $15 to see an actual garbage fire on the field. And I use field loosely, because that's a bad field. But the Jets coming away with the win. Darnold threw 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. Haskins, not terrible, not great though. But then again, he also has about 0 weapons. But Geis was able to, show off his stuff a little bit. But this was like one of the only games that was actually on in New York. And I just pirated Red Zone instead because, there's no way in hell you're making me watch that game. Both these teams, they're bad. Then, moving on, you had the Jaguars losing 13 to the Colts 33. Foles came back, obviously, almost threw 300 yards, had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Fournette had a 23 yards. God, what a freaking falling off the cliff for Leonard Fournette. Brissett came back, obviously, was okay, threw about 150 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but their defense was able to seal the deal. Nick Foles, I don't think he's going to be bringing them back to playoff contention, because while he is a religious man, they're really going to need Jesus to come down on the field and save that team this season. Then you had the Bills taking on the Dolphins, beating them 37-20. Josh Allen with 3 touchdowns. There you go. Had 0 running game whatsoever. And Josh Allen, once again, had to be that entire offense. And that's been the Bills this season. They've had a defense that can hold just about any team. And then they have an offense that completely and totally revolves around Josh Allen, for better or for worse. But John Brown sneakily has been putting up the stats, so that's good for you. The Bills able to beat the Dolphins. That should be a given. I still don't think you're top 10 material, because your schedule is laughably easy, just like the Patriots, but maybe, who knows, you'll sneak into the wild card. Dolphins, at least you won 2. Then you had the Cowboys taking on a Matt Stafford-less Lions, beating them 35-27 in a game that should not have been this close, but that's what happens when you have 2 terrible defenses. Prescott threw for over 440 yards and 3 touchdowns. Driscoll threw for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns against that terrible Cowboys defense. Neither of these teams look like playoff teams, but the talent that exists on the Cowboys is just going to keep them in there, and the fact that they're in the NFC East is going to get them into the playoffs. From there, again, who knows? I didn't think the Giants were going to, win 2 Super Bowls when they snuck in, so look how that worked out. So, good job, Cowboys, for beating the Lions. You almost didn't. Then, moving on, you had the Texans getting blown the F out, 7-41 against the Ravens. Watson, 169 yards, 1 interception. Lamar Jackson, 222 yards and 4 touchdowns. The guy is just a monster. And if you have him on your fantasy team, have fun in the playoffs. If you don't, let's hope you don't play that one person who has them in the playoffs. Because, God, their defense has just been uber consistent, giving the Texans loads of trouble all day, and their offense is obviously one of the best in the NFL. If they're able to keep up this offensive and defense performance, oh boy, they're just going to win themselves a Super Bowl. Then, moving on to the Falcons, nearly shutting out the Panthers 29-3. Matt Ryan, 311 yards, 1 touchdown. Their defense had 5 sacks. And we're like, wait a minute. They just beat the Saints, and now they're beating up on the Panthers. Where has this team been all year? Kyle Allen, remember when they were like, oh yeah, he's going to replace Cam Newton, threw 4 interceptions, so that didn't go too well. Even Christian McCaffrey struggled against this Falcons defense. And so, yeah, just a whole big amount of yikes. The Falcons, a lot too little, too late, but damn. I gotta say, like, if they're able to freaking run the table at the very end, I'll just be in here just for the lulz. But Panthers, that pretty much solidifies that you're not making the playoffs this season. Then you had the Saints rebounding against the Buccaneers, 34-17. Breeze with 3 touchdowns. Winston with 4 interceptions. So yeah, pretty much the norm for these two teams. Then you had the Broncos giving up a 20-point lead, losing to the Vikings 23-27. They were up 20-0, and then they played conservative all game like Mike McCarthy was their coach, and they lost because Kirk Cousins was able to come back and had a great game, 29 for 35, 3 touchdowns, 319 yards. Cousins played a great game, and more specifically, a great second half. And so, kudos to the Vikings. You beat the Broncos, which you should have beaten to begin with, but Broncos are mad at you, and that's not just for Super Bowl 32, because now you got the purple incarnations of Satan still up my ass. Then you had the Cardinals, here's another one, almost beating up the 49ers, 26-36, losing though in the end, and oh god, it was this close. It was this close. Murray had a nice day, 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jimmy G over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Had no running game to speak of, but oh God, they were so close. They were so close. They were this close. But it's all right. Packers 49ers this Sunday for the number 1 seed. Be there or be square. It's more of a rectangle. It's long fingers. Then you had, oh God, a team or teams with 0 offense. The Patriots walking into Philadelphia winning 17-10. Brady 26 for 47, no touchdowns, no run game. Wentz struggled. Yeah, this was not a great performance by either team, but the Patriots were able to come away with the win and avenge their Super Bowl loss from a couple of years ago. Carson Wentz continued to struggle, and yeah, not Philadelphia. I don't know. You beat the Packers, so you'll always have that. So glad we lost to you, just like we lost to the Chargers. And Patriots fans, yeah, really bad left tackle, and your offense is not clicking. But hey, at least Gronk is like throwing a party during the Super Bowl. Maybe he can meet you there. Then you had the Bengals taking on the Raiders. What a blockbuster game, losing 10-17 against the Raiders. Ugly, ugly game. The Raiders pulled it out. And Josh Jacobs had a pretty good game, but other than that, the Raiders should have won by a lot more because it's the Bengals. They're bad. Then you had the Sunday night game, which was begging for me to take an ice pick to my eye and lobotomize myself. The Bears walking into LA and limping out with a hip injury, losing 17-7. Yeah, this is 0 offense for either team. Jared Goff was terrible. Trubisky wasn't good. Neither offensive line was great. Both defenses played pretty well. But yeah, just bad. Neither of these teams look like playoff contenders, and it's a race. Which team are you more disappointed in this season? The Rams for going to the Super Bowl and then coming back down to earth, or the Bears being 12-4, going from a double doink to now, yeah, they can't even score double digits. Let me know in the comments down below. Then you had a rematch, one of the best games last season. The Chiefs taking on the Chargers and beating them 24-17. Mahomes, without Tyreek Hill, had a pretty mediocre game. 19 for 32, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 182 yards. Rivers, though, oh God. They're about to send him down the river and light him on fire. Vikings funeral style, 28 for 52, 353 yards, 1 touchdown, and quattro interceptions. Yeah, quattro. That's 4. Yeah. How the hell did we lose to them? After throwing a whole bunch of picks against the Raiders, now we're throwing a whole bunch of picks against the freaking Chiefs. How come we couldn't throw a bunch of picks against the Packers? Just me? Okay. All right. It's all right. I'm not bitter. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. What was your favorite game of the week as we get an exciting, and I mean exciting, Week 12 coming your way. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy. All social media is seen down below. You can check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout out and thank you to all the Patreon members over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy. Check that out. Thank you so much for watching. We'll have predictions out tomorrow. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack, go.